I hope you can see the slides, see the presentation. Okay, so today's lecture is about electronic business, e-business, right? So first we'll go through the introduction. So basically e-business refers to all business processes that take place across electronic networks, right? So by the name itself, we can understand, right? So e-business means whatever the business that are conducted um, through electronic networks. This includes everything from buying and selling of goods and services through the www World Wide Web to interactive television and a whole host of other emerging technologies. Yeah, so basically, e-business are everything. All these businesses that are in business, basically, what happen is buying and selling, right? So in any sort of buying and selling of goods and services through either www or like any other interactive television and any other emerging technologies is termed to be as e-business, right? E-business integrates information and communication technologies with traditional business processes, introducing efficiencies that cut costs and increase profits. So basically, the basic aim of e-business is to integrate ICT with traditional business processes so that the efficiency will be improved, right? So efficiency will be improved by cutting costs and increasing profits, right? So in 1999, Andy Grove, who was the chairman of Intel, has stated in 5 years' time, all companies will be internet companies, so they won't be companies at all. So like 1999 plus 5 means it's around like 2004. So you can see like um, maybe since 2000 onwards, uh, all these companies are going for majority of companies are going for these e-businesses nowadays. Also you can see many of the businesses operate um, online, right? And they use electronic devices and all to facilitate purchasing and selling, right? So uh, so this statement is true, right? So now we'll discuss about internet business models. Right? The key to successful e-business is not to concentrate on the technology itself, but to decide the way forward for your business within this new environment. Yeah, so basically, not just integrating ICT or technology in your business won't make sure that your business can reach success, right, in any business platform, right? So you should make sure that technology is utilized in an effective manner that is suitable for your business, right? Some companies have realized that e-business was simply not the magic thing it was made out to be. So there's no magic, right? So basically, e-business is all about applying technology or utilizing resources in terms of new technologies and new technologies, right? Basically, the ICT in your business so that the business so that you adapt those technologies in a manner that suits your company, right? Okay, so we'll just focus on some common business models available. um, Virtual storefront, right? So which is used by Amazon, right? Then information broker, which is used by TripAdvisor, Yelp, and travelocity.com. And then digital product delivery is used by Netflix and iTunes, right? Content provider, used by WSJ.com and Reuters, the Washington Post, right? And online service providers, the examples are Google Search and Google Maps, right? Some of the examples. So basically, these are the common models, common internet business models, right? Then we'll look into how to organize e-business resources. Right? As we discussed earlier, also basically these resources should be organized in a proper manner so that you can take maximum out of those resources in your business. Besides the conventional organization of HR, informational and financial resources needed to conduct business, e-business requires several specialized resources. Yeah, so basically, besides the conventional or the traditional organization of HR, information and financial resources, right? So this e-business requires several specialized resources, such as human resources, right? So basically, just keeping the technology there won't work, right? So you need human resources, right? People who can design, create, and maintain websites, internet systems, right? So that's why these businesses need ICT staff, right? IT staff, and then material resources uh, uh, that include specialized computers, equipment, software, and high-speed internet connection lines, database servers, so many other things, right? Okay, then you need informational resources. So generally in the form of analytics that focuses on tracking the efficiency of the website operations. Offers insight into how satisfied customers are interacting with the firm's website. So information resources means the resources that tend to provide you information, right? So mm, um, two of the main information resources that are required are the analytics, right? That looks into analytics that look into the efficiency of the website operations. If your company has a website, then it should operate efficiently. So um, the analytics that are used to that focus on checking the efficiency, tracking the efficiency of these website operations is an important form of information resources. And the other one is you have to constantly check how satisfied the customers are with your firm's website, right? So those information also can be considered as informational resources. Then you have financial resources, right? So you need the money required to whatever the money that is required to start, maintain, and allow the firm to grow, right? And then usually reflect greater participation by individual entrepreneurs and venture capitalists. Yeah. So it can be seen that like the trend is there. These entrepreneurs and venture capitalists, they tend to invest more financial resources on these e-businesses, right? Okay. So uh, basically, we'll see why this e-business is different when compared with the traditional business, right? One fact is the ubiquity, right? Traditionally, a business is a physical place, such as a retail store that you visit to transact business. So the um, traditional businesses are where you physically go to the shop and then you perform some transaction there, right? Okay. E-business is ubiquitous, meaning that it is available just about everywhere at all times. Yeah. So e-business, you don't need to visit a particular place. It's available everywhere because, or through an online platform, it's available through a website. Um, from any place you can reach that business, right? And it's available in, so that means it's available in any place, everywhere, right? It makes it possible to shop from your desktop, at home, at work, or even while traveling. So these things are actually not novel things, right? So you know, you also do online purchasing and all, right? Because especially with this pandemic situation, normally you don't visit the shops, no, right? So even starting from the groceries onwards, right? You actually purchase them online. So it's this is all about this online purchasing and all, right? So this is not a new thing for you guys, right? And then market space, a market space extended beyond traditional boundaries and removed from a temporal and geographical location. So as we discussed earlier, there's no temporal or geographic location for the marketplace in term, I mean, for e-business, right? So it's available everywhere. It's available at every time it's available, right? For the consumer, ubiquity reduces transaction cost, the cost of participating in a market. So you know, mm, participating in a market means, so you need some money also to travel to a particular place. So rather it's more convenient if you can do the purchasing and even the selling online. That's actually going to reduce transaction costs, right? Okay. And another main factor is the global reach. So it's available globally, right? E-business technology reaches across national boundaries around us. So e-businesses are available all around the earth, right? So if you can facilitate, if your business can facilitate to transfer the goods, right, internationally, then you can do your business in an international platform, right? As a result, the potential market size for e-business is roughly equal to the size of the world's online population, right? So the market size, because it's available everywhere now, so throughout the globe, so that means it's available for this world's online population, because not everybody is available online, right? But majority, they have in online access, so that means it's available for more than 2 billion of the population. So the market size of e-business is too huge, right? Okay, then another fact is why e-business is different is universal standards. The internet relies on universally accepted standards, right? So basically, when you are going to do online transactions, right? So it's you have to do it through an online platform. So internet, basically it relies on universally accepted standards, right? So especially when you are going to make the payments, so you have to make the payments through a secured payment gateway. Likewise, so you have some internet, since the internet relies on universally accepted standards, so your e-business also indirectly going to follow those universal standards, right? Therefore, the technical standards for conducting e-commerce are universal standards. Greatly lower market entry costs, the cost a business has to incur to enter a market. So, basically, the cost to enter the market will be so low, because you don't need any physical place to conduct your business, right? So likewise, there are many costs that you can mitigate, right? So the entry cost will be so low. Reduce search cost for consumer, the effort required to find suitable products. Yeah, so basically, if you are going to physically visit these stores and check for products, right, it's going to incur so higher cost, right? Because you have to search in every place and see and compare, right? So if you, for an example, if you are going to purchase a mobile phone, then you have to visit all these popular places and track their prices, and then only you have to compare, right? So it's like visiting all these places is going to mm, be expensive, right? Rather, in an online platform, you can just visit these sites and just do the comparison, and you can do the ordering very conveniently, right? So another factor is the personalization and the customization. The goods and the services that we are going to get can be actually customized and personalized, right? So by making a request, businesses can target their marketing messages to specific individuals by adjusting the message to a person's interest. Yeah, so especially with these cookies and all, right? So they keep track of what the customer interests are. So likewise, they can actually personalize and customize the advertisements, the offers, right, depending on the maybe age range, depending on the interest. Likewise, so these offers can be customized, and it's good for the sellers as well as for the buyers also. That's good, because then you won't get all these sort of advertisements. You will get only the advertisements or any notification that are related to you. The technology also permits customization, changing the delivered product or service based on a user's preferences or prior behavior. So basically, a product, before purchasing, even you can actually customize the products, right? And also because in most of the online businesses, the products will be produced once the order is placed, right? So as a result, you can customize according to your preferences, right? And also after getting the products delivered, also you can the products and services can be changed according to the user's preferences or prior behavior. Right? A great deal of information about the consumer's past purchases and behavior can be stored and used by online merchants. So it happens, right? So if you visit a particular site, for an example Amazon, so if you have done some purchasing previously, depending on those purchases you will be provided like notification, right? And all for, so that they will provide you the similar products maybe, and sometimes like what you call, for an example, if you purchase a mobile phone, then they will give you provide you notification for maybe headsets like that, so for complementary products, right? And then the result is a level of personalization and customization unthinkable with traditional business. So basically in traditional business it's hard to do this customization and personalization, but it's facilitated in e-business, so that's what makes it different. And another fact is social technology. E-commerce technologies have evolved to be much more social by allowing users to create and share with their personal friends. So basically, you can suggest these products to your friends even, right? So content in the form of text, videos, music, or photos. So in terms of any of these content form, you can suggest those products. Sometimes there are some contests. If you suggest a particular product for your friends, then you will have the chance to win a gift like that, right? Using these forms of communication, users are able to create new social networks and strengthen existing ones. Okay, so if my connection was unstable, sorry for that. um, so like that, so actually you can suggest products to your friends, and through these online platforms you people can get, especially with these social networks, right? So through social networks also, social media networks also, they do selling, right? Many of the businesses are conducted right through social media. So likewise, so a community will be formed, so that even within that community people can communicate and build up good social networks, right? This provides a unique many-to-many model of mass communication. So the mass communication is facilitated through e-businesses, right? So it's a many-to-many model of mass communication, because many people can communicate with many other people, right? Okay. uh, Right. So there's a small activity for you guys. Can you please give this a try? Discuss about few e-businesses. How do they make money? So basically, since the lectures are not conducted physically, right? So I mean, doing these discussions won't make sense, no? So the best thing is you just um, discuss, means you just type your answers, and I'll make sure you can upload those answers in the Moodle, so it can be considered as a small quiz, because anyway this will be the lecture before the last lecture, so you are left with only one lecture. So I got to know that next 2 weeks are going to be holiday for you guys, so I think of either to do it, record the lecture and upload it. Otherwise there will be one more week left for this semester. So I'll think on that, and um, either upload recorded lecture, or we'll do the lecture on the last week, right? So can you please try this question? I'll give you around maybe 20 minutes, so that then you can upload, like, so discuss about few businesses, maybe you just discuss about like 4 to 5 businesses, right? So like, so there will be like 4 to 5 small paragraphs. So for the first question and the second question you can combine them and answer, right? So you just identify, let's say 5, okay, 5 businesses, right? And then you just discuss means you just type about how do they make money, right? And then so make money means how they generate revenue. So the same question is repeated, right? So make sure that you come up with some different e-businesses. That means don't try to jot down, I mean, e-businesses, I mean, using the same sort of mm, mode of revenue, right? So if they are using the same method to generate revenue in an as an e-business platform, then there's no difference, no. So in order to find different ways, just make sure that you identify some businesses that are different from one another, and don't copy from others, right? So you, because if you go through plagiarism issues, then I mean, I'm going to put this into Turnitin, so it will show. And don't copy paste from the internet also, because in Turn, I hope you know about Turnitin. If you don't know about Turnitin, just learn about that first. In Turnitin, what happens is, from it checks your document, it compares your document with all the available resources in the internet and your friends ones, right? So everything it will check plagiarism like that. So make sure you don't copy from the internet. You can collect information and you have to like paraphrase. Right? You just read this. Okay, I'll give you 30 minutes. You just read the websites, right? Get an idea and use your own wordings to jot down the answer. Then there won't be any plagiarism. So I won't check for these. Mm, what you call grammar and spelling mistakes unless they are so obvious ones, right? So I won't um, mm, check in a more complex manner. I'll just ignore those grammar and spelling mistakes unless they are too obvious, right? So do it like that. So you have like 30 minutes. So for one, spend about 6 minutes per one paragraph, right? So if you have any questions, please let me know regarding this activity. So if otherwise, if you're unwilling to talk, you can just put a message in the chat. Okay. So you have 30 minutes, right? So I'll facilitate in the Moodle for you to upload the answers, right?
Excuse me, miss. I have a small doubt.
Yeah.
Miss, so the mode of income is like what they sell. Is that what is expected?
Yeah, what they sell, and then the way they get the income, maybe like if you search it, like sometimes there can be places where you can for an example exchange products, right? So you give them as customers, you can give them the existing products, and then they will sell the new products, right? and then some combination of products can be there. Likewise, there can be like a small minor changes. So in terms of the product as well as the mode of revenue, maybe the payment gateway they are using, right?
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Okay. The written answers means so if you have any issues in typing, then it's fine, right? But make sure your answers can be read. So at least I can do an OCR to capture the text and do the plagiarism check. If you're unable to type, it's better if you can type, but if you're unable to type, that's fine. You can upload the written answers, photos of written answers. Okay, so from 10th, no, 10th, what's your time? From 2 o'clock onwards, you guys can upload your answers until 2:45. The deadline is provided. Okay, so please upload your answers as soon as possible so that I can resume the lecture. Okay, so I'm going to resume the lecture now. Otherwise, I won't be able to complete today's lecture. Mm. Hope you can upload the answers, right? Okay. So basically, so you have not. Yes, the thing is, next slides is going to be connected to activity. So I have to wait until. Let me see how many of you have so, uploaded the answers by now. So only 16. So we have 64 people here. So that means only quarter of the population have uploaded. Now 25 uploaded. Let's see. So regarding this activity, none of the assignments submitted after 10:40 to 15 won't be considered, right? Since we are going to discuss about the same thing. So you have only 4 minutes more. Okay, so it's more than enough. Like we have only 61 people here, and I have seen 74 submissions. So it's more than enough, right? So even people who are not in the lecture have uploaded their answers. Right. So we'll again go back to our lecture. Right. So so revenue models, right? So in terms of So there are several revenue models. One is advertising, generates revenue by attracting a large audience of visitors who can then be exposed to advertisements. Yeah. So basically, these YouTube, Google, and Facebook, they generate revenue by attracting a large audience of visitors. Then they will be exposed to advertisements, right? So when you go to YouTube or sometimes in Facebook and even in Google, some of the sites, and you can see unnecessary advertisements are there. It's actually a headache for us, but anyway, it's an income for those. I mean, those businesses. So YouTube, Google, and Facebook applications, right? And then sales, making some sales in Amazon, iTunes. They tend to sell some goods or services, right? Derive revenue by selling goods or information or services to customers, right? And then subscription, right? So like in Netflix, right, they charge a subscription fee, right, to access for access to some or all of content offerings or on an ongoing basis, right? Some examples, the Wall Street Journal and Netflix, right? Okay. Then another revenue model is the freemium, offer basic services or content for free while charging a premium for advanced or special features. So in Gmail, Spotify, Skype, and then Adobe, right, many applications are there. So the basic services or content will be provided for free. But if you want more advanced functionalities or features, then they will charge a premium, right? Then some other another revenue model is the transaction fee. A company receives a fee for enabling or executing a transaction, like eBay, Booking.com. So those are some platforms they are for you to get done some services or maybe purchase products, right? So they are just the platforms, right, not the sellers, right? So they will be incurring some transaction fee, right? And then you have another model is the affiliate. Websites send visitors to other websites in return for a percentage of the revenue from many result in sales. Yeah, so some websites actually promote some other websites. No? So that means they will be get paid by the promoted websites when some sales are done. Right? So these are some of the revenue models. I hope you try to figure out like mm, so there are six, like, so if you try to figure out like at least four or five, right? Okay. And then e-commerce, right? So what is e-commerce? E-commerce is the process of selling and buying which done via the web or the internet. Yeah, so basically e-business is a business that is operated using electronic devices, right? So e-commerce is the process of selling and buying which is done uh, so there's is and is missing, is done via the web or the internet, right? E-commerce is part of e-business. So e-business is the parent class, right? So e-commerce is a subclass of that, right? Half of the global internet users have made an online purchase in 2016. Yeah, so it's 2016. According to 2016 metrics, it was like half of the global internet users. Nowadays, I think like like more than 90% of the internet users have at least made an online purchase, because especially with this pandemic situation, right? So sometimes we had to even buy the groceries, right, in case maybe Kagis, those even with those shops we had to do the purchasing via online, right? And then global e-commerce sales reached 2.5 trillion dollars in 2018, right? So it, definitely it has been increased by 2020. Okay, right. So let's focus on what are the types of e-commerce available. B2C, business to consumer, then B2B, business to business, and consumer to consumer, C to C, right? So business to consumer is retailing products and services to individual shoppers, right? So basically, when a business is going to sell products to individual shoppers or customers, that is B2C. Then you have business to business, sales of goods and services among businesses. So in between businesses also, these selling and purchasing of goods happen, right? So that's B2B. Then you have consumer to consumer, right? So consumers will be selling directly to consumers. Sometimes used items are sold like that with using in Sri Lanka. Most commonly platform is Stigmart, right? Likewise. Okay. Now let's focus on what are the key concepts in e-commerce, right? So basically digital markets. We have digital markets here. So the digital markets, they tend to reduce information asymmetry. Right? So that means information asymmetry means um, reducing information asymmetry means improving information symmetry, right? So it's information is available on a fair basis for everybody, right? And this search costs will be reduced, as we discussed earlier. The effort to find suitable products, that effort can be reduced, right? Then transaction costs also reduced because the cost of participating in a market will be reduced now, right? It's always available at anywhere, at any place, right? Then menu costs, merchants' costs of change in prices, right? So menu costs also will be reduced. Online retailers change prices on many products based on flash sales, demands for the product, and users' prior visits to their sites. Yeah, so uh, if you have done a previous purchase, right, so there will be some sort of discount, like 10% discount. And then sometimes for new customers there will be discounts. And then depending on the demand for the product, and there will be some flash sales, right? So um, you may have seen in apps like Dadas and Alibaba, right? So in those places, those applications, you have seen these flash sales, right? So basically, so there are some sort of a change in prices, no? So that anyway, to change these prices, there won't be any cost. So merchants' costs of changing prices will be reduced, right? And then digital markets are going to enable price discrimination, right? So that means selling the same goods. Price discrimination means different prices, right, for the same product, selling the same goods or nearly the same goods to different targeted groups at different prices, right? So through a digital market, actually that can be facilitated, right? You can categorize your customers, and then according to their levels, or it's some of the categories you identify, right? Depending on the targeted group, you can incur different prices for the same good, right? Maybe minor differences are there, still the same good, but anyway different prices. So price discrimination is that. Then dynamic prices. So dynamic prices mean you can change the prices, right? So the price of a product varies depending on the demand characteristics of the customer, the supply situation of the seller. Yeah. So you may have seen the same you may have seen the same product will be mm, the same product will be sold at different prices uh, depending on the supply, and then demand for the product. Okay, right. And then disintermediation disintermediation, right, provide many opportunities to sell directly to the customer. Their intermediation will be reduced, right? So you can say like it will be mitigated, it will be removed, right? So because you can directly sell to the customer, right, bypassing intermediaries such as distributors. Okay, so these are some mm, concepts in e-commerce, right? And then, right, so this is one example regarding intermediaries, right? So let's say you have a manufacturer, and you have a distributor and a retailer, and then only the product can reach the customer. Then the cost per sweater, let's say this is about selling a sweater, right? then $48.50. So you can say if there's no distributor, then the cost will be reduced to $40.34, right? And if you can do the direct selling, right, then the cost will be like reduced more than halfway, right? So it's just $20.45, right? The typical distribution channel has several intermediate levels, each of which adds to the final cost of product. The more you have the intermediate levels, the cost will be high, right? Removing layers, so you can see removing these layers lowers the final cost to the consumer. Okay, all right. And then in e-commerce, you have another concept is you have digital goods, right? Goods that can be delivered over digital network. So examples are this music, video, software, games, books. So these things actually they are not physical stuff, right? They are just intangible things, right? But they are also products. Okay, so they are known as digital goods, right? Cost of producing first unit almost entire cost of the product, right? So for an example, let's say you are going to write a book, right? So, or write a software, right? So there will be only an initial cost, right? Then thereafter what you need to do is you have to replicate that, right? So 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 the cost of producing the first unit is almost the entire cost of the product, right? The marginal cost, you know what is marginal cost? Marginal cost means the cost that is to be borne by when you are going to produce one I mean extra unit, an extra unit, right? So marginal cost of second unit is about zero, it's just about zero, right? So if you write, for an example, if you write a software, then you have to just mm, you have that software, no, right? So you can again and again sell the same thing, right? Cost of delivery over the internet is very low, right? It's only about what you have to spend on this data, right? Then yeah, marketing costs remain the same, pricing highly variable, low menu cost. Anyway, low menu cost, because when you are going to change the prices, there won't be any cost, but marketing costs can remain the same, right? Because you have to do the marketing anyway, no? Right? Industries with digital goods are undergoing revolutionary changes. Yeah, so there are a lot of changes with the industries that they selling digital goods. So you can say these publishers. So for an example, if you're going to do some research, you may read these papers. Some, if you are trying to read some papers, actually they are um, we can't read them without paying, right? So you have to pay for the paper like that, right? And then record labels et extra. Okay, right? So this table is about digital markets compared to traditional markets, right? So in terms of these concepts, key concepts in e-commerce, right? Information asymmetry, so it's digital markets, asymmetry is reduced, right? Asymmetry is high in traditional markets, and then search costs are low, high in traditional markets, then transaction costs, sorry, low. Sometimes virtually nothing means like, so what are these virtual businesses or products, right? So one example, let's say your business is producing yogurts, right? So you need yogurt cups. So the um, cups are produced by some other party, right? So you had to purchase those cups from that business, right? So that is uh, virtual businesses, right? So the especially these transaction cost be very low, and virtually the cost can be even zero, right? And then in traditional market, transaction cost is high because due to time and travel, right? Then delayed gratification, so it is high, right? So and but in terms of digital goods, it's lower, right? So in traditional markets you can buy at that point, so the delayed gratification is low there, right? So that's an advantage in traditional markets. And then menu costs are low in digital markets, whereas high in traditional markets. And then dynamic pricing, low cost, instantly you can do that. high cost and it will be delayed. And then price discrimination is also low cost and it can be done instantly. And in traditional markets, it's high cost and delayed. Right? Then market segmentation also low cost and moderate precision. Right? And so in traditional markets, market segmentation is of higher cost and less precision. Right? And then switching costs. Right? So when you're going to switch in between products, so it can be higher or lower, right, depending on the product characteristics. But anyway, it's always high in traditional markets. And then network effects, it's strong in digital markets. Traditional markets, it's weaker. Then disintermediation, more possible, right? So that means you remove the intermediation, right? It's more possible and likely, but it's less possible and unlikely in traditional markets, right? Then we'll discuss about the e-commerce marketing, right? Internet provide marketeers with new ways of identifying and communicating with customers, right? So actually through internet you can do a lot of marketing, right? Search engine marketing, right? Data mining, recommended systems, targeted email. So these are some of the methods that you can target, that you can reach the customers, right? The costs are far lower than traditional media, right? So in normally the people were used to do marketing using maybe television, right? So you had to pay there, and then in newspapers they also you had to pay. But nowadays, if you want to sell some product, if you want to even buy some product, you can just put a maybe a status in any of these social media platforms, right? Like that. Yeah. Long tail marketing, inexpensively find potential customers for products where demand is very low. Yeah, so mm, long tail marketing means actually without any expense, like inexpensively you can find the potential suitable the customers who are willing to buy the products, right, where demand is very low, right? Okay. And then behavioral targeting. So behavioral targeting means, as we discussed earlier, so you just track the behavior patterns of individuals, and then you are going to target them depending on their characteristics, right? Tracking online behavior of individuals on thousands of websites and exposing them to advertisements that are uniquely suited to their behavior. But there can be privacy concerns as well. So I think nowadays, like the majority of sites like that I try to visit, so all of them tend to ask like cookie preferences. So you can just manage the cookies. So by cookies also they are going to track your data, right? So it's good that it's been we can manage. But some sites are there actually we can't, like if we click accept all cookies only we can proceed with. So best thing is to just not to use such sites, right? Because those are unethical, right? Okay, so we'll see this uh, diagram all about have when advertising networks such as DoubleClick works, right? So, so okay, so you can see, right? So we'll start with the consumer, right? So let's say, so these things happen two-way, right? So we'll just start with the consumer, right? So um, so because consumer request web page from ad network or member site, right? So let's say now the consumer wants to buy some product, right? So you are going to type it, and then there will be so many links, and then you will go to one of them, right? So maybe the merchant site, right? Merchant server. So you have the merchant site, right? And then mm, merchant server connects to DoubleClick and server. So DoubleClick.net is actually an advertising network, right? So so they, let's say this merchant is connected with that DoubleClick.net site, right? So then what happens is once the customer or the consumer is going to check for products in the merchant sites, his or her data will be sent to, right, the DoubleClick.net server, right, at server. So it's an advertisement server, right? And then, so DoubleClick.net server will save those ad server, as I told you earlier. Ad server will read the cookies of the consumer, and then it will store the details of the customer in a particular database. Thereafter, whenever that the same customer is going to refer to the same merchant, right? Actually, through this doubleclick.net, right? So it's capable of retrieving the cookies, right? It will read the cookies and will check the database for the previous profile of the same customer, right? So as a result, what happens is whenever it stores data about this customer, this doubleclick.net server will send um, I mean advertisements that are suitable for that customer, right? Consumer ad server selects and serves an appropriate banner and based on profile, right? So through that, actually the customer can see what are the other related merchants. So what are the other available sites? So there's actually some sort of an advantages there, but sometimes it can be a headache because again and again you will be receiving these advertisements, right? Mm, okay. So then what happens is customer can actually look into these newly provided merchant, one of the merchant site, right? And then what happens is so you just go there and double click. No, so double click no, so here mm, so the double click is this advertisement server, right? So it's going to follow the customer, right, from one side to another. So the same thing is going to repeat. So if you are going to follow another website, right? So again, the doubleclick.net server will read the cookies and see whether it's the same profile, and then depending on the profile information, it will customize the advertisements and send you a new set of advertisements. Right? So this is like web crawling can like go. So if you have done this online purchasing, right? So you can continue in online purchasing for hours, right? Because again and again you new advertisements will pop up and then you can refer to them and see, right? So this is how it works. Right. Then we'll discuss about mobile e-commerce. Mobile e-commerce or m-commerce, so it's the acronym is m-commerce, is the buying and selling of goods and services through wireless handheld devices. So mobile phones, maybe tablets, right? So uh, so those are wireless handheld devices, even the laptops, right? Mobile e-commerce sales account for 34.5% of total e-commerce sales in 2017. I think by 2020 this also has increased, right? Because people are more convenient using mobile phones. I mean, especially nowadays I can see like 90% of the population are using mobile phones and laptops, right? They are not very reluctant using desktops, right? So by 2021, so they are predicting mobile e-commerce sales are expected to account for 54% of total e-commerce sales. So you can see whether it's true. Maybe it has gone higher than that, maybe the same, right? Okay. Then you have location-based services, especially with mobile e-commerce, right? So location-based services. So one of the example is the Peak Me, right? And you have these Uber, right? So those are location-based services. So either you are traveling somewhere, or maybe you are going to purchase food, right? So so depending on their location, right, the services will be changed. That means geosocial. So these are geosocial services. Maybe they are geo advertising and geo information services. So all about geographical location, right? Depending on the location, different services and different alternatives will be available, right? Geosocial service can tell you where your friends are meeting, right? So in there's online events. right? Not only online but also other, even the other events you can, I mean the location can be provided, right? So that you can see, mm, so there are some events especially in the social media, right? So you can see whether your friends are attending them and where those things are happening, like that, right? Then Joe advertising services can tell you where to find the nearest Italian restaurant, for an example, right? Geo information services can tell you about special discount at a restaurant you are passing by, right? So some of the examples are Foursquare, Google Maps, right? So they are using mm, location. Then yeah, games and entertainment. Smartphones and tablets have developed into portable entertainment platforms, right? So uh, that's all for fuel. Downloadable and streaming digital games, movies, TV shows, music, and ringtones. All these things are available. In 2018, mobile games were expected to generate 70 3 point sorry 70.3 billion dollars, right? To be $100 billion market by 2021. Maybe it's true, right? So everybody loves to play games, right? Okay. Okay, so let's say building an e-commerce presence, right? So if you also want to proceed with e-commerce, so what are the things that you require? Assembling a team with the skills required to make decisions about. So you need a team. Team means like even 2 3 people enough. Even yourself you can start e-business, right? Go with e-commerce, right? So the things, anyway, the skills that are required are the technology. You should have some knowledge in technology, right? Then site design, because you have to design the websites now. And then social and information policies, right? Because you have to adhere to those policies, right? About data privacy, maybe, right? I mean, what are the legal things that you, I mean, legality of the products or services, right? Like that. And then yeah, hardware, software, and telecommunications infrastructure. So people who are going for this e-commerce should possess this knowledge. So if you don't possess this knowledge, what you can do is you can recruit staff to build the websites, right? To take care of hardware, software, and other telecommunication infrastructure, right? You just need to only manage, right? Customers' demand should drive the site's technology and designs. Yeah. So actually the customers demands should drive the site's technology and design, right? For you to be successful in this business, in this e-commerce, right? Business decisions drive the technology, not the reverse. Yeah, so basically it's not that the technology that drives the business decisions, but business decisions is the thing that should drive the technology. Okay. So business decisions in terms of business objectives, right? So through business objectives you can identify what are the capabilities the site should possess, right? So example, execute a transaction payment, right? So you have these objectives in your company. According to those objectives, the technology should be utilized, right? Then system functionality, technological capability to achieve this object, these objectives, right? These objective or these objectives, right? So example, a shopping cart or other payment system. So for an example, let's say your business objective is to execute a transaction payment, right? So in order to do that, you have to identify what the technological capability, right? For an example, a shopping cart or other payment system, right? Then information requirements. So what are the information that you need there? So secure credit card clearing, so if your site is going to track the credit cards of the customers, right? And then it's unethical and illegal, right? And you should allow multiple payment options. So those are the information requirements that you should possess, right? Yeah. Then we'll look into electronic payment systems, right? So digital credit card payment systems, right? So where you enter the information of your credit card, and so that you can do the payment, right? Extend functionality of credit cards for online shopping payments, right? Provide mechanisms for authentication and transferring money from bank to seller. So basically authentication will be done with these OTPs, right? One-time passwords may be sent to your email, registered email or the registered mobile number, right? Yeah, then digital wallets are there, right? So Easy Cash, PayPal, right? And now you have this freebie, right? Software stores credit card and other information to facilitate from completion and payment for goods on web, right? Okay, then you have digital cash. So for the digital cash also, uh, so the examples, for the examples are most popular examples are cryptocurrencies such as a Bitcoin, right? Okay, currency represented in electronic form that moves outside normal network of money, not regulated and not legal tender, right? Basically, you may have seen these there are some sites, and in some countries it's legal even, right, to use Bitcoin instead of cash. So that's all about digital cash, right? Then client software allows exchange of money with other e-cash user over internet or with retail accepting e-cash. So this e-cash, even in these mobile networks also, like Dialog and Mobita, they have this e-cash facility, right? So those things are legal in Sri Lanka, but I don't think Bitcoin is that legal. I mean, in almost all the cases, but in some countries it's allowed for you to do transaction using digital cash such as Bitcoin, right? Then peer-to-peer payment systems, right? Serve people who want to send money to vendors or individuals who are not set up to accept credit card payments. Yeah, so peer-to-peer payment means like, so some uh, vendors or maybe individuals are maybe there who are not set up to accept credit card payments. So in such cases you have to do these peer-to-peer payments, right? Okay, so that seems to be, that's the end of the today's lecture. So please let me know if you have any questions. So seems like you don't have questions. Okay, then thank you for your participation. So have a nice week, and especially have a good vacation. So this will be the last meeting before the new year, and I don't think like we'll be able to meet even. I mean, even in the next lecture, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to provide the recording. So anyway, so happy New Year for you all. Okay, then I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, I'll end the session.